the impact of my parents being Holocaust survivors and its effect on me and my Jewish soul, my Jewish spirit, and everything that I am was probably cemented when I was 3 years old. By 3 years old, when I walked into prison, I was 60, and I hadn't really gone to synagogue or been participating in organized religion from after my brother's bar mitzvah. I loved Judaism. I felt Jewish. I felt that I lived the ideals, but I was not involved with organized religion. When I went to prison, literally the first day, I asked somebody for a siddur. I wanted a prayer book. And I found myself saying Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, all day, quietly, so nobody would see. And I tried to think, where did this come from? And it came from a story that I remembered. I grew up having Shabbat with my family, and after Shabbat dinner, I would hear stories that I wanted to hear about relatives who I never met. I wanted to be able to visualize my grandparents who I never knew. And so I loved hearing stories, but there was one story I didn't hear till I was an adult. So back in the mid-'80s, when my Holocaust survivor friends, or rather, back in the 80s when the Holocaust survivors were starting to make some money, they were buying a second property in Florida, and they were going there for the winter. And I knew my parents would never buy one, even if they had the money. So I bought them one. I went with them, it was about 1988, and we were there for New Year's. We stayed together, and they went to an event New Year's Day. And okay, I'll see you. And then when they came home, my mother said, "You're not going to believe what happened." So they're at an event with 200 Holocaust survivors, and a woman walks over and introduces herself. "My name is Mrs. Schindel. My husband, Dr. Schindel, is in the other room." And all of a sudden, 5 minutes later, we hear crying and screaming. My mother's telling me this. And nobody knew what was going on. And when they walked into the other room, no, I fucked up the story, excuse me.